Let me just post it up on Twitter. I hope you guys are having an amazing trading day. It has been amazing for me as well. So let me just post that up. Okay, nice. That's up and running, and pull up the charts and we will rock it. I hope you guys are having a great Cyber Monday. It has been a good one here for me with the markets. A lot of things really broke down from the charts, from the watch list. They really rocked. So let's go over that. Let's check out the market, see where we are. Technically, what are we looking at? Remember, I do have my exam coming up on Friday. I am very excited to have that and get it done. Let me just open up the chat on the other computer as well. Lots of amazing things that are happening, lots of good stuff, and I hope and wish nothing but the best things for you guys. Lots of things happening. All right, so we'll get the charts up and the chat. Let's transition on over here to the chat. All right, it doesn't want to go back to the chat for me up here, so I can see what you guys are saying, see the stocks that you guys want to talk about. Remember, today at 12:45 I will have to run because I will be on Ticker Talker at 1 o'clock today. So I see you. Hey Mark, hey Daya, hello Hanak. So today, Mark knows I was just talking about trading mindset. Very, very big, great analogy too to bring to the table to you guys is, if you hit a stop, right? Think about driving down the road. The rules of the road are, hey, you see a stop sign, you have to stop. What can happen if you don't stop? Well, you destroy your car, you blow it up. What can happen to your trading account if you do not get out at that stop? You could blow it up and you could crash and burn, right? Thanks, Mark. Yeah. And there's also a free trading room over at the dark pools as well. For everybody that's also watching the live stream, please hit that like button. The more that you guys hit the like button, the more YouTube will share it, the more people I can help. Bottom line, right? The more we help each other, the more we all prosper. All right, so let's look here at the SPY. Technically speaking, we had a little bit of an island gap over here on the daily chart, right? So on our daily chart, we have this island of trading zone. Let's draw it out with the rectangle, right? So they respected the lower bounds of it today. Let's zoom it in. Should do it the faster way. Yeah, mindset is everything, not just within trading, but in life. All right, so here are the bounds that I'm really watching for the SPY. If we go below 359, we'll call it 359.25, or above 364.50, those are the areas that I'm watching. This is 4 days. We haven't had a really big movement. They came down and tested the lower area here. However, Mondays tend to be more of a positioning day for the market in general. Not really a big trader on Mondays, also really big with teaching. So I really like to watch and see what's happening in the market. What positions are being laid? What are people doing? I do have my list right over here. Let me pull it up as well for you guys. So I do have a Cyber Monday deal going on, 65% off at cjandtrade.com. If you all are interested in testing out my list, it's like 3 cents a trade setup. Really? It's, like 68 cents per day. So it's pretty awesome. And happy to share and help others profit. So let me pull up the list and show you guys the list as well. Been crazy busy this week with studying. One more week left before my exam. So here we go. We have HCHC, had KNDI on there. I don't know if Dan is watching, but I did have that as a short below 1288. And Lee, happy to see XPEV somewhat coming back down to reality. Not looking really parabolic moves. However, remember that with the parabolic moves in trading, technically, that it can only accelerate up so quickly. Oops, I just realized I was hiding that with my screen. So with KNDI right over here, a short below 1288. So looking at the SPY, let's get back to the technicals over here for the SPY. That this could be bigger positioning. Hey, let's hold it right here. Where are we going to go? We've had 4 days where they are holding it sideways. Consolidation usually leads to a bigger move. Let's look at Amazon as well. So Amazon, we saw that Amazon, we went sideways here. I still have that box there, testing the upper limits of the box right now. To me, that's a potential add point. I bought in down here, added on this day, still in the trade, entries back down here, roughly in the middle area. As long as this is still following that upward trend line, still like this, to continue up. We did hit the upper bounds area over here, and Amazon will definitely affect the Qs, and it will also affect the SPY. So let's look at the Qs. I know I'm sort of jumping around, but we'll get to all of it today. All right, so Qs. You can see I was teaching some inverse head and shoulders over here. Let's get rid of some of these drawings. I don't need all of these drawings. I like to draw, and then I draw dots everywhere. So let me just clean up really quickly, guys. All right, so the Qs. You guys can see with those lines up there, we are definitely hitting resistance, right? We have come back. We hit this green line of resistance from the past, and that was my, hey, if we go above, this could be a potential long. We had the long opportunity today. We did. And let's pull it back over here so that we have the chart. Actually, I think that it didn't. Hold on. 298.75. Yeah, pretty much right up here. So we broke above it very shortly in the beginning of the day, opened higher, came back down, broke above it, and then it just followed the moving averages down. We are above these two lines of resistance. So we have broken that trend. We have a little bit lower volume today. We'd like to see this volume really increase and break above 300. That round dollar really going to stick. All of the indexes are pulling back today, which is interesting because many times we'll see that money will flow between the Qs over to IWM or vice versa. We also have a bit of an island here on IWM. They did close the gap, and now it is bouncing. We have higher volume reversal down here at 180.32. So potential entry longer term, using that as my stop if I were to get into this. Dow Jones Industrial Average. We have been hitting that 30,000 mark. We have a trend line set up from January to February. This was when we saw that selling that did happen. And now we're pulling back a little bit. We have an upward wedge that is forming on the Dow Jones.
Well, good morning.
Oh, la 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 la. Hold on 2 seconds, guys. I have Paul. 2 seconds, guys.
Hold on.
All right. I forgot to shut down the other room.
So this is a list of
So that room. All right. Perfect. Let's bring it all back. Doing a lot of things, right? Mark knows Paul. There we go. All right, right back to it. So let's draw that. Let's draw that not line, which I just drew, but I want to draw the upward trend line right here so that you guys can see that trading wedge, right? Let's reverse, take this out, and let's pull this line over here. So you guys can see we have an upward wedge. This is a pre-existing trend line, and this is drawn from the past couple days. I like this feature that you can turn on the angle. So you don't have to use the angle, and when you highlight it, it will tell you 23 degrees. That's a pretty shallow angle. And we are ascending here. So would look to see and make sure that this does hold. Would use 294.11 as the potential exit. Again, we see that there's a lot of volume that came in. Somewhat an inverse head and shoulders right here. Also saw that actually on CCL as well. All right, let's get a little bit more into the list. So we had HCAC. I have a feeling that my levels are not going to show up. There we go. All right, had a nice short. If you guys don't know this already, the 425. Oh, Mark, it's okay. No, you know what? I've been really rocking it. I did study the book, got 66% first try. That's 4% away. Now it's time to really hone in on the areas that didn't necessarily stick in me just reading it and highlighting it. So all good. I got a whole week, Mark. No stress. All right. So here we have 1250. It bounced right off of 1250. That 425 EMA. Everyone says, Jane, what chart should I put that 425 on? Well, it repeats itself time and time again. We have GMHI that also had a long trade above 18 today, up to 1894. And a short trade. So this offered trading opportunities both directions today. And look at how it's bouncing off of this moving average right here. Mark, you're going to learn all about those moving averages. So I know Kristen is Christy is in boot camp today. So boot camp is 4 times a year as well. And here we see Zoom came down, broke this level for potential short, came all the way down to 460. These are my areas to watch. So it has been dancing around this trend line here. This is the shorter term trend line from a 24-hour chart, I think. Let me see. Yes, 24-hour chart. I need to adjust that to a daily over here because that is not going to hold true. All right. There we go. So now we have it on the daily. Let's bring this back to my 45-minute chart. And you can see it also bounced off of that trend line fairly well. So I would look for that to hold. If we do not get that to hold at 465, I would exit my position that I did enter back over here when we broke above the 21 EMA. So watching that on hold, actually I'm going to set an alert for crossing down, right? This has earnings coming up, so definitely one to watch as well for earnings. Earnings is the end of today, right? Now we also have PLTR. Some people were asking me yesterday on my live stream, Jane, I didn't get in on Friday. I don't know, should I get in? Well, this right now has a bit of, on the shorter time frame, do you guys see this? Do you guys see a pattern here? That we do have a head and shoulders to the downside, right? And sure enough, it failed that neckline, boom, broke down, came to a support area and bounced. Is this going to, all this volume going to bring it back up? Or will this continue all the way back down to the trend line? It's still overextended from the trend right here. And let's see if I click on it. No, it doesn't have the attribute on there yet. I got to turn on all my charts, the angle. So seeing that we might very well end up seeing a second day of red on PLTR or Palantir. So I would keep that on watch as well. And let's check out, oops. All right, so we also have ACB on the long list today. Came up hitting this moving average. You guys can see that these averages work. That's why they're on my chart. So we had a bit of a short earlier in the day, right? And then it quickly bounced right back up just above $10, $10.01. You think people want to get in at $10? You think the round number is important? It is, definitely. And now look, a nice $1.30 to the upside you could have captured from there. However, to the downside, you have a nice short here as well. From $10.75 down to $10 would have been a nice trade to the downside. Nicola had the GM negotiations reassessed. Doesn't mean that they're not participating. However, it's just they're not taking a stake in the company. Seems like a bit of an overreaction from over here. Now, what's amazing is look at this chart, look at the daily chart, and then we turn on the 24-hour chart over here. Really crazy price action all the way up here. Maybe we're going to head back up there. I like this as a long as we can close above this. I did get into it this morning, full disclosure, and I'm waiting to see where we close end of day, right? This is my trend line that I'm watching. To see 13 degrees, that's pretty shallow. We have massive volume down here. We have buying power that's holding it up above that trend line. So potential for this to bounce up from here, technically. Had a great short, right? There was that shorting from 37 all the way down to 20.25. However, this could really surge up from here. Looking at all the volume that we have coming into it, this has a lot of volume today. Let's pull this up actually, and we'll be able to see and adjust this. So we have had 70 million shares, right? That's pretty big. How many shares overall? For Nicola, 136 million. So half of the float has traded today. More than half of the float has traded today. So that's something to take into consideration. There's always money trading hands, right, in the market. And who is buying down here or who is selling down here? If we see that half of the float is being traded down here, then we need to be conscientious that this could have a big bounce, right? This could have a larger bounce to it, and it could have a dead cat bounce. Maybe it will continue all the way up here. There's a reason why this spiked up here. So keep all that in mind, guys. Just keep it in mind that we've had 50% of the volume, 50% of the float, more than 50% traded today. All right, XPEV as well. Looking at XPEV, yes, I've been saying for a long time, this can come back down to reality. My opinion could still even come back down to 52. Down over here, had a nice, amazing short below $62 today, all the way down to $55.50. Missed a lot of good short opportunities today because I was teaching people, but I hope you guys rocked it. That's why I build these lists, is so you guys can also rock the amazing trades. And look at this. This has the ability to come down even further, right? This one to me looks like it could really just have a major drawdown all the way back down here, all the way back to 21. That's personally where I think that I might invest in this, but we'll do my due diligence first. We also had KNDI, had a big move down today. This one did see a little bit of dark pool activity and drew the chart from down here, right? And it's bounced off of that trend line. Is this going to hold? We had big volume right here. 1030 would look to see if 1030, 1025 is really going to hold. Again, that $10 mark, right? This was up at 117, coming all the way back down. Well, this could break down further. We are looking a little oversold on the 15-minute chart down at 26 for RSI, and we're starting to see that maybe that downward pressure is going to come down. Is this going to implode even further? We could see that this does. When we look at all these parabolic moves, if that breaks, right, I would look for the target of 630, 650 area right here. I would look at that as an area to potentially close out a short. Hola, Guillermo. All right, so Lee, let's check out Lee. Again, all of these car sectors, they're all pulling back, including Tesla. So when we see that we have the electric car sector pulling back, and we see the big name like Tesla as well, it's not a wonder. Look, Tesla, man, I missed the opportunity to add today. Bummer. It's all good. There will always be more opportunities in the market. I'm not going to get upset about that. But we also see that Tesla went really parabolic too, right? Tesla had this parabolic move and broke down. Let's bring it over here. Broke down today, in fact, but it bounced back above. So is this parabolic move going to continue? I do have my target up here. I gave it to you guys November 17th, 684. That is my target, $100 away. Well, we've had a nice move. We're down here at 431, so we've had a $150 move from there. All right, let's continue with JMIA, and if there's any stocks that you guys want to check out, let me know. Again, if you do like it, please hit that like button so that I can help more people, because then the YouTube will share it more. All right. So JMIA, nice short here as well. We're seeing a lot of these shorts setting up today. It's not a wonder as well because the market is pulling back. So when we do have the indexes, 500 stocks, 100 stocks of the Qs, 2,000 of IWM, 30 of Dow Jones, they're all pulling back on the day. That's going to give pressure for other stocks to have a bit of a correction as well. Is this, hey, oh my goodness, we need to really prepare ourselves and get ready for a massive drop? Doesn't look like it. Let's look at the weekly on the SPY as well. That's going to give us more an indication. All right, the SPY could easily pull back to 358, and we're still in the upward trend. We do on the weekly chart have a little bit of an island trading here as well. Now, if we broke below 355, I would start to watch out, because that might end up that we have a bit more of a move that's going to come. But for now, looking at seasonality for the S&P 500 going into the year, that first week of December tends to really run to the upside. All right, do you guys have any stocks that you would like to check out? DraftKings and CIIC. Sure, Daya. All right. And this weekend after my exam, I'm getting rid of my eggplant hair. My mistake. We're going to fix that. Yeah, MTETs, we'll check it out. Okay, so DraftKings, we drew this out yesterday. I don't know if you were here yesterday, Daya, but I did put a resistance area of 53.20. We opened up above and pulled back. Yeah, we'll check it out, Mark. Let's add those on over here. So CIIC, KOS, AAL, CRM, IGC. All right. So DraftKings pulled back big time. Let's make this a 15-minute chart. So we have our daily on the left, 15 on the right, and you guys know me, 425, right? Nice. So 425 on the DraftKings, and didn't we measure this out? I remember I did a cup and handle on this and gave it a target. I believe it was 65.80 or something, if my memory serves me correct. I think that's where I said this was potentially going based from this cup right here and the handle breakout move that we have over here, that we were heading up to 65 roughly for DraftKings. So this has pulled back. It's still in that upward motion. A lot of volume came in on this reversal point right here. We went above that volume. This is looking bullish as long as we can stay above 41.20 in my opinion. We have the highest volume of the day minus the first 15 minutes right here. So I would look for this to continue to the upside. However, I would use 51.20 as my potential get out point if I were to get long on this. All right, and KOS. Oh, I missed CIIC. So let's look at CIIC, and then we'll do KOS. So CIIC, parabolic, starting to come back down. Look at how it's bouncing right there. You guys see this? 425 action a lot today. Keeps bouncing off of it. I'm telling you, keep that on watch. But when we look at this, you know, these tend to have crazy moves. Is this a low float, Daya? I would look, maybe this is even, hold on. I just noticed something. Why is it not synced? Do you guys see that? Yeah, you see it, and this is really parabolic. This might come all the way back down to $19. It's in that downward pressure right now, and it's below all the moving averages. It bounced also off of that, pretty much that 50 Fibonacci right here, and also off of $20. Again, a round number, right? So this might have more of a move to the upside, might get held up here around 24.50. I would watch 24.50 as an area that it would get held up if I was long this. That would be my target for getting out. All right, KOS. Awesome. Thanks, MTETs. How many in the float? Do you know? So KOS, same sort of scenario. This is parabolic. It's starting to come back down below all of the moving averages. I would look for this potentially to pull back further down to 163, even maybe down to 150 over here. All right, let's look at AAL. Nice. All right, AAL had a bit of a reversal right here off of this moving average, came back down. They are faking us out with the gap fill over here. And on the reversal over here, so we definitely broke out. I'm going to get rid of this line. We don't really need that anymore. We broke this trend line over here. We had big volume on this day. If we close below this, I would be prepared for it to potentially fill the gap back down here to 1350 or lower, even back down to 1316. However, it came down and it did not close the gap. We had volume stepping in right over here, and now we're above that bigger volume. So will we continue to the upside? I would watch for this to break above 1450. If we can close above 1450, we'll likely be on our way back up. It just might have had a bit of a resurgence here. We're in the middle of the day, and the really big day I'd be looking at is right here. Are we closing below this day or closing above this day? All right, CRM. Hello, Artemio. All right, we got 3 more minutes, guys, before I have to jump on over to Ticker Talker. All right, so CRM, we are hitting a moving average on the daily. You guys see that? It's so cool, right? This is part of the reason why you want to look at multiple time frames, because you don't want to just be stuck on a 5-minute or 15-minute chart or just the daily chart. You can see, hey, look at how it's really stalled right around this area, and confirmation over here. Do you guys see the triangle? Let's draw it. Let's see if this allows me to draw it well. All right, you guys see that? Which way are we going to break? Is this going to break up? Looks like a little, we got an eye right here. What animal do you guys see? Maybe we're listening to some birds. Looks like a puffin, right? All right, so is this puffin going to spit out the worm and go down? Or is it going to take it back up and fill the gap up here, up to 245? We did break below this trend line over here. So, and we also have earnings coming up. Let's look and see what happened during last earnings season. Let me get off the drawing tool. All right, last earnings season. Did it come down just beforehand? We had a surge up just prior. Now, where in the past has it bounced? It looks like it's bounced pretty much off of these same moving averages all the way back in May, right? Went up, pulled back, found some volume there, and then it bounced up. And it's just been really screaming to the upside, had a little bit of a correction over here. And now, if we go below 231.92, we didn't go there, $5 away. But we can look at this. Okay, what were also the reports for CRM? 326% earnings, better than expected. How about here? Okay, back in May, it was negative 58. Just curious to see, are we going to have another 300%, right? Are they going to really rock those earnings? Always a risk holding it overnight into earnings announcements. However, if you could do lower risk options, different strategies potentially to profit on that. We might see a run up into the end of day on this. I don't know if it's coming pre or post market. Let's go to earningswhispers.com. Just watching the ES futures to see what's happening. Looks like it's bouncing a little bit off of 3606. Earnings whispers. All right, let's plug in CRM. All right, December 1st, after the bell. So we'll likely see a lot of movement tomorrow as well with CRM. So this is now 2 days prior. So if we have this and we bounce off of here, that might be an indication of somebody knowing something and maybe a bigger move to the upside. I don't know what's going to happen, but just looking at it technically and holding throughout earnings, risky, right? Okay, and IGC. And then I'm going to have to run because I'll be over on Ticker Talker. So IGC Capital, this had a parabolic move on Friday and continuation day today. Right now, total doji, right? We're right at the open and close price. And This one is lower float, I believe. Potential if it breaks above 260, then we might have a bigger move over here. Let's look at it on the 24-hour chart over here. So it already had that wick up here to 266. Maybe after that it would look for 311, 50-cent move from here, and then 350 on up. If we were to watch it start screaming higher while I'm... Okay, so let's go here. All right, so 211. Hey, look at that, 257. You see that Fibonacci, how it's testing right there? If we break 257, would aim for 302 and then 450 up there. All right, guys. Thank you all for joining me today. I hope you have an amazing day. I will be doing yoga live streaming tomorrow morning. Back at it again. There we go. Lee is off to the races. Let's see if we can break that 260 mark, right? Totally just watching this, not any action for me on this stock. So have an amazing day. Carpe profit, seize those profits one trade at a time. I will see you all tomorrow morning at 7:15 for yoga. If not yoga, at 12:15 again for my live stream.